Patterson from 161 Essex, holding down the fort, 8 Ball Radio. And today we have a very interesting group of people here, and we have
Cochise.
Valentine from Superior Ones.
Tiny from Superior Ones.
T from Superior Ladies.
Bobby, Superior Ones.
All right, thank you very much. And so this is once again gathering the history of, street gangs, early gang life, Lower East Side, New York City. And Bobby, you were like a black spade when you were a young kid, right?
Yes, I was.
And tell us about that. I mean, you mentioned some things earlier about how, you went to the Hoe Avenue peace treaty. That's a major. There was a guy called Black Benji and a ghetto brother in 1971 that was murdered. And so the Ghetto Brothers were going to go back, Karate Charlie, they wanted to get revenge. They met with Black Benji's mother. Black Benji's mother didn't want to have that kind of history to her son, so they worked out, they were going to work on a peace treaty with Yellow Benji and the Ghetto Brothers, and they put all that together. And you were actually at that first peace treaty, because at that time, not only the Bronx, but all of New York was just filled with gangs.
Yes, it was. Yes.
And tell us about that period. You were, at this time, you're from the Bronx.
Yes, Bronx.
And you remember when, for example, it was very difficult to walk in any parts of different neighborhoods. You want to talk about that? You had Young Turbans over here. And
Yeah, well, back then there was certain neighborhoods you couldn't walk into, especially with certain colors. We had turbans near us. We had other gangs, but you couldn't walk into it. Even though they was maybe 2 blocks away, you couldn't walk into certain neighborhoods. But when that particular event took place with Benji, every gang in New York came together, and then it was something.
yeah, so what was that like? You were saying that there were so many people. They were actually in a boys club gymnasium.
Yes.
There were so many people there that they couldn't all fit into the gymnasium.
We had to stand, most of them had to stand out on the street.
Wow.
Because they couldn't accommodate all of us. There was hundreds from maybe 30, 40 different street gangs. And it was no fighting, and we kind of resolved the problem, which came to another issue with the police, of course. And because it involved them, it had something to do with them.
Were there police at the meeting as representatives or no?
No.
No.
They were, it wasn't a police thing, but
Right.
it wasn't a way because they kind of had something, they saying they had something to do with it. But anyway, we went to the precinct after having our meeting, and we did go to the precinct. And we kind of started a war there, and we just all, after maybe an hour, dispersed, and the police backed up on us. They didn't try to come at us.
Now, which precinct was this? This wasn't
Fort Apache,
Oh, this was Fort Apache.
41st precinct.
Oh, 41st precinct.
It was Fort Apache.
So everybody after this meeting is sort of coming
I know.
together. They went to the precinct.
And we was throwing cocktail bombs at them, and they backed up. They came out of riot gear, but they backed up, and we dispersed, and it was it. It was.
So how does what happened at that meeting differ from the movie? That eventually turned into the movie,
Fort Apache.
Warriors.
Well, the only part of the movie is really true, even though it's a great movie. We all did come together, all the gangs. But we weren't in the park, and there weren't no shooting, and it wasn't people trying to run home on the train, or it wasn't like that.
So nobody.
And we didn't even go to a park to have the meeting.
Right.
It was no park. It wasn't a park. It was the gym.
That's right.
We were in a gymnasium
That's right.
on Hoe Avenue.
Right. In the Warriors movie, it's in a park.
It's in the park.
It's
You're
in a
right.
park.
You're
Bronx.
right.
I
Matter
think
of
the
fact,
park-
that was Bronx Boulevard. Bronx
No,
Park East.
No, I think it's the one on Tremont. But we didn't go to a park. That didn't happen.
Right. And nobody chased anybody to Coney Island?
No.
No.
There wasn't any.
They had to put their own stuff in there.
Right.
We weren't trying to fight each other or anything. I mean, back then you couldn't be in the same room with different patches on because it would turn into a brawl.
Right.
You know, there was just certain things you didn't do with patches.
On this particular day, did everybody wear their patches?
Yeah, a lot of people,
So everybody
almost
didn't have had their patches on?
99% had colors on.
Right, but everybody just got along.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, we stared at each other and gave each other dirty looks, but it was no war, there was no fighting against one another.
Right.
Actually united us. It started the path of us uniting in a sense.
Was there can you see a direct correlation follow through where it all of a sudden turned into like hip hop and breakdancing and that? Was that sort of connected, or is that kind of like?
Well,
I don't think it was
well,
connected.
well after, I guess, but I don't think it was connected in that sense.
Because they draw that parallel where all of a sudden everybody went sort of from fighting to breakdancing.
To breakdance.
That was back then. They used to call that crews. Different area, you would have
Battles.
dance crews, dance battles.
Right.
And if you won that battle, then you were like queen of that park.
Right.
You know, you couldn't. You know,
But this happened after the peace treaty. People could do that
After the
after
peace treaty.
after
Yeah.
the peace treaty.
Way after the peace
Wait,
treaty.
but way after the peace treaty.
Right, then it became,
Like how long after the peace treaty do you think?
I would say probably
Probably
a year,
I think it was about 2-3 years.
Like
2 or 3
years.
years.
somewhere in that neighborhood, and all of a sudden they were dancing and
Right.
having battles with this crew and that crew, and nobody, all of a sudden the colors started to disappear.
Oh really? Yeah.
That's when the hip hop stuff.
That's
And,
when hip-hop came in.
Well, hip hop started to come in, all the colors disappeared, and
Then they would have T-shirts. The crews would have T-shirts.
Right.
yeah,
And painted.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Airbrush.
Airbrush.
Yeah. Airbrush became a big thing. Just like
Right.
graffiti,
Yes,
airbrushing was a big
exactly.
thing.
The
So-
80s. I believe that was in 80s.
And then
80s.
Yeah, mid.
Early mid 80s.
The t-shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, certainly you had Keith Haring and these people starting off at that time, early '80s, and he was doing a lot of t-shirts. T-shirts becoming really, because Keith Haring kind of wasn't really graffiti, but he was sort of thought of as graffiti, and he kind of
Right.
overlapped with the graffiti, the art, and all of that. So hip hop. So he was big with the t-shirts. So the t-shirts became really a big thing. Now you were also mentioning something about Larry Davis. You were in jail with Larry Davis. Larry Davis is interesting to New York City because this time it's the Bronx. This is 1989. This is a period where there's a lot of strife between the police and the neighborhoods, and especially the Bronx. A lot of people believe the cops were involved in drugs and everything else, and it turned out later that to be true. So Larry Davis, in the end, got involved in this shootout with the cops, and he shot 6 cops, and eventually got caught. But his thing was, and he had Lynn Stewart and William Cutler as a lawyer, and his whole thing was, I was selling drugs for the cops, so I thought they were coming to kill me, which they probably were.
Yeah.
And he shot his way out. And so that became a huge, notorious story.
Right.
And so, actually, at that time, I was in for shooting cops with a video camera. I shot 6 cops, got 6 cops criminally indicted with a video camera. He got 6 cops shot with a gun. And you were in Bronx House of Detention at that same time.
Yes, I was. He was in the cell near me. He was my next door cellie. And well, even though he was a person that was shooting at police and everything. Of course, we're from the street. You're a gangster. You praise the guy. I mean, you did something good, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, in the black community at that time, he was like a hero.
But then it carried on because the correction officers started to retaliate against him because of what he did to the cops.
That was noticeable in
So,
there, right?
oh yeah, and yeah, it was very noticeable. And he used to tell me, hey, I was working for these cops. And he told me, and they came at me. I thought they were gonna kill me. He said, but I still got away. And he did get away a couple of times. They cornered him, but he got out of it.
Right.
And I think so that they were going to try to kill him because he was going to talk if he got indicted.
Right.
And of course, the cops don't want to be.
Yeah.
You don't want to be, in that type of predicament. But they still wouldn't let up on him, and still correction officers came at him and did real bad things to the guy. I mean, I opened my mouth one day and I wind up in the bin. because I went to defend the guy. So,
Mm.
of course, I wound up in the bin and lost a good time. But I mean, he did what he had to do, you know.
Yeah, at that time, there was, actually, we were both under the same system. There's a system called central monitoring. And central monitoring meant that anywhere inside the jail, you had to go with a white shirt. I guess at that time, the white shirt was captain and above. I don't think lieutenants at that time had white shirts. And also, when we went to court, we went in a special little van where I was shackled feet and hands. You get a little cage in front of the little van, and they take you down to the court. He had the same thing. We didn't ride together. These were individual vans, but you could tell because at one time we were both going to court together, and there were all these cop cars going by.
Yeah.
In a little van. But yeah, so that's so we're connected.
Yeah.
Small world. And so you also have the Young Lords on your jacket.
Yes.
Tell us about the Young Lords, because you were mentioning your brother was
Young Lord here in the Lower East Side,
lived at 17 Essex.
Essex Street, yes. And I always wondered, at the time I didn't know what they were.
Right.
So when I got into the world, when I started becoming a black spade, I became into the world. Then I realized what he was. But then he explained to me that it was a political thing. It started a political. It was a bunch of Puerto Ricans that wanted to better themselves, their neighborhood, where they lived, their family. All of a sudden, they started letting the younger generation to put them on, and it turned into a gang. And it turned into violence. It turned into everything
How
else.
long did that
but
take
political.
before it went from political to a gang, would you say?
I don't think it took very long.
Really?
Wasn't long at all.
You know, instead of being political, they turned it to everything else but political. I mean, it just turned it all around into something that wasn't meant to be. I mean, it is what it is. It happened, but
I mean, they did things too, like, I think they took over Lincoln Hospital and held that down, and they got certain rights for patients and people like that, and they actually didn't get arrested for that, they got away with that. Do you know about that, Valentine?
I heard pieces of that, but whenever you take something that's positive, the government always gotta put drugs and stuff to the community to break it up. You know, so that's one of the reasons the violence and everything stays in the community and stuff like that. They keep, you know, I tell the youth that, you know, we're a $1 billion business to them by locking us up, burying us, the food and stuff like that. So it's like a rotation that they keep on us. So whenever you try to do something positive, you always gotta keep it on DL and you get your foundation, and then you can really talk about it. Cause then, you know, the government come down on you. When you try to do something positive, you're taking away money from their pocket.
Or drugs. And, you know, when you hear people talk like this, especially if you're not from a neighborhood like this, about what Valentine's talking about, the cops are setting people on, they're putting drugs in the name, you hear all
They
this stuff,
still do it now, even up in Yonkers.
and it sounds crazy. But, you know, I've documented the Lower East Side for a long time. And the Lower East Side was probably one of the largest drug markets in the whole world. I say that because if you went to Harlem, most of the clientele was black. A lot of people, but most of them are black. And in the Lower East Side, because of where it was, where it is, you got the 3 bridges, you got the tunnel, you've got, you know, Brooklyn, Queens, Saturday, everything's accessible here. And it's also a mixed neighborhood.
Right.
So you had Wall Street coming for drugs, you had everybody coming for drugs. And it's really one of the problems I have with famous basketball players and people like that, because they know, see, I know for sure a lot of people down here that did drugs. You know, I have a big heroin bag collection, I've documented a lot of drug stuff. And I know there's many white people involved in drugs than anybody else. The Spanish people, it was mostly down here, not so many blacks, but mostly Hispanic and Lower East Side. At that time it was mostly Puerto Rican until like later 80s, it became more Dominican and things. But, and in a way it's unfortunate because I knew people like Richard Hamilton, who was really a drop-dead junkie and was for most of his life. And if he had been arrested, it probably would have saved him, because I used to see people, like people always dealt in front of my place here all the time. And I'd see these guys who go to jail and they'd be all beat up and worn down because they were doing drugs. They go to jail for 6 months or a year, they come out, they're all buffed up, they look great, they're back. And so it saved a lot of people's lives actually going to jail. But the only people that were going arrested and going to jail were the Hispanics, were the minorities. Let's call it the minorities.
Sure.
Meanwhile, I know for a fact all these other people were involved in drugs. I know that for a fact. Yet, if you go to jails, 90% of the people up there in drugs is minorities.
Right.
So I'm saying, what happened to all the white people that were involved in the same business? They're buying it, they're selling it, they're dealing. Look, if you're a junkie, you're a dealer. Because somebody goes and picks up the bundle. When you come back with the bundle, you then split it with who you're with or whatever. But you're basically the carrier, the distributor, the dealer.
Right.
So everybody that's in the business, one way, is a dealer. So all these people are really dealers, and none of them went to jail. I knew people that were stopped, or white people that were arrested, but just held up against the wall, and that was it. But yet these Spanish kids, they used to, I mean, God, some would get 20 years longer. So I used to tell them, look, if you're gonna sell drugs down here, go to the hippest place that there is with the Paris Hiltons and all of that. And as long as they're there, you're okay. As soon as they get out, if you're just on the corner, you're dead. You know, these cousins and brothers and whatever. And it's an industry, and it's all BS. So my point that I'm getting to is a lot of that stuff that you hear people from the inner city talk about, police being involved in drugs. It sounds crazy until you live in a place like that. And when you live here, it's like right in front of your face. It's like no mystery. So tell us about your lady friends here. How did you guys meet and get involved in whatever?
Well, he's my husband. We've been together 36 years.
Wow.
We're married 31.
Wow.
I always dealt with his crazy life, but I never had part of it. Up until 2 years ago, when my son started. And then this is my best girlfriend, but she's like a sister to me. So she followed me, you know, I talked to her, and she said, all right, cool, let's do it. So here we are.
Yeah.
And then this is sort of also, it's coming to a period of time, this is where we're getting to Valentine, Superior. And tell us your story.
I got a long, crazy story. You know, I grew up on 180th Street and Southern Boulevard. We had the, you know, Spades, the Zulu Asian, Chinglings, and then the Black Falcons. So, you know, I grew up around the drug gang. I grew up around the violence. Because right there on Vice and everything, like you said, you had the highway right there. Everybody used to came up.
So this is the Bronx.
Yeah, the Bronx. So, you know, me seeing all that, you know, coming up and, you know, doing that at the age right now, 51, I just try to make a difference. You know what I'm saying? Before I leave this earth, I just want to make a change. Thank God I'm still here, because a lot of brothers and sisters ain't here. They probably murdered, they overdosed and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of things I don't saw, it backed me up. You know, I don't saw people overdose and jump off a roof. So I stopped, that made me stop drinking and smoking cold turkey. You know, so like I said, this is about me, you know, coming up, and then they sending me.
So what particular incident caused you just to say, I'm stopping drinking, I'm stopping the whole thing?
I had a friend jump off a roof.
Oh, okay.
So when I came down, we was on the roof, you know, we smoking our little thing. And then when I came down, you know, he was just like meatballs and spaghetti. So I was like, you know what I'm saying? Before while I'm doing something like this, boom, it's gonna be, you know, I gotta stop. You know, stop cold turkey right there.
And so this is like peace treaty in Hoe Avenue was 1971. We're now in 2019, and we're going into 2020. And you're involved now with another form of peace treaty. You want to talk about that?
Well, I'm sitting down with some of the brothers, Bloods, Crips, stuff like that. We was gonna do something right now, but we pushing it because a lot of other people are trying to get. They could come, but since it's about to go into the Christmas holiday season, you know what I'm saying, something everybody can beat it, so we pushing it after the new year. But people think that, you know, they're banging out here, you know, since right now, they not really banging the way everybody think it is. The thing is, if you grew up in this project, and you grew up in this project, and they've been warned for generations, it's like the hillbillies, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you didn't never leave the hood, you gonna still, you know, be, when you, as you get older, like, you know, he killed my brother, he killed this one, so y'all just keep the beef going on and on and on. So he's like, yo, this, you know, it's time to put down the guns. A lot of innocent people's getting caught in the crossfire, you know what I'm saying? In my eyes, no one is innocent, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's guilty of something. If this little kid just got killed, that means somebody around him or close to him, they did something screwed up and they came back, you know what I'm saying? God don't like ugly, so we all feel the pain, you know what I'm saying? People don't think when you do something, you might think you're getting away with it, but somebody close to you and somebody around you, they gonna feel the pain. So that's why, you know, they're trying to educate our people on that.
If you don't educate the young people, you're gonna find more of them with killings, okay? Like up in Yonkers, I'm trying to bring up his next book, Stop the Bullying. Up in Yonkers, there's so much bullying, it's not even funny.
Specifically in the schools.
You know, and it's like more, the teachers are afraid of the kids than the kids are afraid of the teachers. It's like back in the days when you and I went to school. We opened our mouth in school, we got slapped. A teacher now hits a kid, they're being sued, they're losing their job. It's not like it was when you and I were growing up.
But Yonkers also is still on the race card.
Yeah, they on
Still
that race
on
car
the
like
race car.
100
Starting from their mayor all the
all
way
the way
down.
down.
All the way
They're
down.
all racist.
Really?
They
Oh,
are
yes.
They have not given up the
Yes,
race
they
car.
are.
If you're black, you're Puerto Rican, you have no chance. You can't talk to the police. You can't do. You have no rights
You
at
have
all.
no rights at all.
You have no rights.
I mean, you know,
They
my
treat
son,
you, they treat you like,
Like you're an
wow.
animal.
You can't even ask the cop for direction if you're a Puerto Rican.
he's
black.
nasty, especially if you
Excuse me,
have your
can you tell me
colors
where the
on.
street is?
Oh, if you don't know, that's your problem.
They'll get really nasty, but if you're white, he'll kiss your ass. And that's still today, Yonkers is exactly like that, racist. They won't admit it and cop out to it, but everybody sees it.
Even from the judges.
People see it and they know.
And it's a shame.
People that, I've had family come from Florida for the first time ever in New York, and we happened to see a little confrontation with police. And they said, are all the police this disrespectful? And I said, no, not in the Bronx, they're not like that. I said, it's just that here, they have not given up the race card. But if you get racist with them or you become aggressive, they don't like it. They'll threaten you. Oh, you're going to jail.
Right.
Don't raise your voice. You know how sometimes they tell you if a cop stop you and they just say they want to frisk you or something, and you're like, well, they always say to talk loud and draw attention. Oh, what am I, under arrest? Well, if I'm not under arrest, you have no right to
Firstly.
start patting me down and what law did I break? Why are you stopping me? They want you to talk loud. If you do that there, they don't care. They're going to lock
Let me
you
ask you a
up.
question. Do they have any minority cops over there? Black?
You could count them on your hand.
Yes, you
Really?
can.
On one
Yes,
hand.
Not-
There's
many.
4 precincts in Yonkers.
Now, and the ones that are there, they already sold their soul to the devil. They think they're white.
Yeah.
They don't look in the mirror every day. They forget to look in the mirror. They forget where they came from. You know, they don't look at it that way. But I tell you, it's the worst place. And and they say it's the safest place.
And everything
Yeah,
else.
What they
It's
show you on the
safest.
commercial is
We're the
the
safest.
second safest place in
Yeah,
the city.
second safest.
But they only showing you the good area.
They're not showing you
They didn't
no
go 3
dime
blocks
center.
They're
down.
showing you
They
the
show you the
double
real
hard
area.
What they want you to see.
They're only
Yeah.
showing you what they
They're
want you to
showing you
know.
where they're building the new high rises where
I mean,
all
it's
these
like-
people could afford rent. Well, at $3,200 for a studio, I can't afford it.
Even in Yonkers?
Oh, it's
Yonkers,
bad.
the
Yonkers.
waterfront,
The
That's
waterfront,
terrible.
yeah.
the
They're
waterfront.
on the race car.
So a big migration must have come from New York City to Yonkers then, right? Because a lot of people got moved out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going up towards.
They've all,
Well-
because
All
Yonkers-
up towards
Yonkers
the
was
Hudson.
supposed to be a suburb of the Bronx.
Oh, okay.
And White Plains came and took over it. But that's what
It's
Yonkers
bad,
is supposed
yeah.
to be.
I mean,
We just closed the shelter that we've been trying to help the homeless. Now, you closed our shelter, but yet Mayor de Blasio is sending their homeless up to Yonkers. We don't even have room for ours.
Yeah,
We're bringing New Yorkers up there.
that was in the news recently.
Really?
Yeah, he's in the
Yeah.
too.
So they're
Yeah,
so they're closing shelters in Yonkers and the mayor is
And
paying
the mayor's
people to-
sending them out.
and
here.
it's a shame because you
That's crazy.
go down. I have to take the Metro North. My son takes the Metro North at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
Okay, and he said, "Ma, it's a shame. They're all sleeping on the floor."
Yeah, I bet.
In buildings, asking for change. He says, I wish I could give it to them. I hardly make enough for myself. I feel bad. He says, we gotta try and do something to help
Well, to
them.
help
So
them,
I
yeah.
go to reach out to the mayor to see what he tells me. He says, well, I just got reelected. See me in January.
Wow.
So mayor, right?
what you're also telling me is that when I'm trying to bring up stop the bullying up in Yonkers, you're telling me in January. So that means you're really not going to get to me until August. So
I met the mayor.
500 kids
In
are
a
going to get
parade.
bullied.
I met the mayor one day in the parade when I first met him. I didn't have any colors. I didn't have anything. And I started talking to him, but I was already in the club. I just didn't have my colors on or anything. It was a Puerto Rican Day parade they had there. And I had Puerto Rican shit on. So I go there, and now I'm talking to the mayor, and I'm asking him about a cancer walk, doing a cancer walk, and doing some work. We have a battered woman shelter. They have kids, so I want to get my club involved. But I didn't tell him it was. I asked him, "How can I get involved?" And boom, boom, boom. He tells me, "Oh, come to my office and see me." And he was really nice. come to my office, he gave me a card and everything. And a week later, I go to his office with colors. Do you know? Oh, no. No, we don't do that. But you changed. All of a sudden,
His whole image changed.
you did a big turn on me. Like, now you don't want to talk to me. Now you don't want to help me. I want to do something positive with my club. We're not gangsters. We're not doing any, we're about helping our community. We want to give back. We want to help these poor women and their kids. Maybe we can come spend time with the kids and play with them in the park.
So as soon
or
as
feed
saw,
them. Or
as soon as
he seen the colors
Superior
come
wants
on.
a young Lord, she said,
Once he saw me come in with the colors,
And he
everything
was dressed.
changed.
He didn't have a bandana on. He was nicely
Everything
dressed.
changed. As soon as he saw the colors come out, he deaded me. He deaded me on the spot. He deaded me. He didn't have time all of a sudden. He didn't want to talk. And just to show you, it's like, we try
But
to
now
do something positive.
he's trying to lighten up because I serve his family in my restaurant. I work and I'm a waitress, and I serve him. So of course now this is my time. You're sitting, you can't get up and move.
Yeah.
And I talked to him. So now he's kind of like lightening up with me, and it's a shame because a lot of the clubs now are doing toy drives for Christmas.
Right.
We just did our first. We're doing our first. This is the first one. We started late. All the clubs in Yonkers and the Bronx are doing the Marie Ferrer Hospital. And I had told my Supreme Pres, I don't want to do Marie Ferrer. Let's do a hospital in the Bronx. Let's see. So we reached out to Montefiore. So we have, on the 16th, we're going to Montefiore with toys for the kids.
Wow.
Right, and you're not a biker club, right?
No,
No.
we're street soldiers.
Street soldiers.
Street commanders.
Street commanders.
And where did you guys hook up with Valentine?
Through my son.
Through my
his son is,
What's that?
do they son? He's my VP.
My son is
Our
their
son
vice
is
president.
Vice president.
At the
Nas.
Superior ones.
Yeah,
Right.
he's good. He's always liked the club life. Always.
I mean, I guess he got you from me because since he was small, he was always my tail. And I was always, even though all the gangs broke up and we all stopped in the Bronx with no more spades, no more nothing.
Well, he grew up with Zulu
Well,
Nation.
I still, every year we have a reunion. And all the Black Spades, the Reapers, we all come together and have a barbecue. We all come together. Well, my son, hearing all of these stories all the time, he was with me about my old gang stories. Oh, we rumbled in this park. And I told him all the stories. So I guess it stuck in his head. And
Tell
out of
us your story.
curiosity,
Tell us
as
your
he's
story.
grown up, now he becomes, into the world.
Alright.
So, I understand the world, I know, and I can't say anything because that's all me and my friends talked about around you. That's all you really saw, because that's the only place I would go, to the projects to hang out. Till this day, when I go to the Bronx, I go into the projects and hang out. But there's always, the old timers are still there and they tell him stories and,
He likes to hear them.
and
The Black Spades are still around.
yeah, they're still around, but they're older than,
Reapers are still around.
there's a lot of them
There's a
still
lot of old
around.
gangs still
But,
Everybody's still alive.
But-
It's just not like
They're
how
doing
it used to
positive
be.
things now.
We do positive things now. It's not like years ago, I'm entering your turf, so now I'm whipping your ass.
Yeah.
No, we all come together and we do things. Just like with a couple of clubs that are sponsoring our toy drive. We have Shadow Sisters who are sponsoring with us.
Finest ladies.
Finest Ladies who are helping us with, get toys. Unrivaled Bloods. They're all helping. And unfortunately, one of the founder of Unrivaled Bloods, he's going through a tough time.
Yeah, Tank.
Tank, he's
That's the one
suffering
called
from.
Superman.
He's in the hospital.
Yeah, Superman. No, he just came out. He's
He just came
suffering
home.
from
Okay.
cancer.
We wish him well.
Yeah,
Yeah, I talk to him
try
every
do a little
day,
something for him,
So like, my son bought one of his supporter T-shirts, and now he loves the hell out of my son. So him and my son, are constantly talking. So we're gonna try and do our first cancer walk as a superior in the name of Tank
Right.
when the cancer month comes up. There's a lot of things that people feel clubs do, like party, get high. Yeah, there are a lot of clubs that like to drink, get high, but they still do and give back to their community. This is how they raise their funds.
You know, the hip hop did change
A lot
the
of stuff.
face of
Oh.
our communities and the world. But it didn't eradicate all the gangs because the Savage Skulls were still around, the
Yep,
Savage Nomads,
still
the
around.
Spades, but now they're more into activism, they're more into doing good.
Right,
You
yeah.
understand? And helping out the community the way it was originally supposed to be.
Supposed to
Right.
You know?
And
I want to mention something. Karate Charlie, Clayton and I, we interviewed Karate Charlie here before he passed away, and Clayton interviewed Yellow Benji, the founders of the Ghetto Brothers.
Ghetto Brothers.
Yeah.
But Karate Charlie had told me that when he was at the Whole Avenue Peace Treaty in 1971, December, he said there were cops there from the Port Apache, but then he got up, Benji got up, and he
They
said,
bounced.
we won't start the meeting until all the
All
cops,
cops
leave.
leave.
We don't want no cops.
Yeah,
And
they
everybody, all the gang members started clapping and
Yeah,
shouting.
they
You know,
bounced.
the cops left, they bounced, but the counselors, students, and the gang members, there were civilians there also because they were trying to help, and they were trying to help the kids that were involved with the gangs, and you know the violence that took place. But then afterwards, when the meeting was over, the things that you said happened. Karate Charlie said that when he was going home, he got jumped by cops.
Yeah.
Probably
They
did.
probably
Beat up by
did.
cops
Probably
because of what he said at that meeting.
Really?
Yeah, he got jumped. He showed me pictures. He texted me pictures back then with him with black eyes and a busted lip.
Really?
Yeah, they probably did. They used to do that dirty stuff.
They were known
Dirty.
for violence.
Especially if you were known, you know, as a gang member back then. They see you alone, that's when they were gonna go for
Yeah,
you.
that's when they go for
So
you.
what you're saying is,
It's like you consider yourself a red
They had a
tag.
cop.
the movies shouldn't have been about chasing the guys out to Coney Island.
The cops
It should
chasing-
be the cop chasing the people in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
There was one cop named Crazy Joe.
Really?
This
He's
cop
still around.
was always
Yeah.
in a police car by himself. He didn't even carry a gun. He'd see you in the corner, he'd pull up, he'd look at you. He said, I'm gonna be back here in about 7 minutes. Don't let me see you here again. He'll drive down the block, come around. We all used to, fuck you, get the fuck out of here, fuck you. We don't gotta listen to you. He would come back around the corner, open the trunk, pull out a 2x4 and start beating everybody up.
Really?
He said, I told you this is my corner, I don't want you here. We were dying to kill him. That was one cop we wanted to kill.
And not too long
And
ago,
he hit.
we
We
met a
wanted to
police
kill him.
officer in Bronxville.
We wanted to really murder that cop. We wanted him badly, but we never had the opportunity to get him.
And he's still alive.
We're
And
gonna
the
cut
prick
that.
is still alive.
He's still alive.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that dude is still alive because I met another officer in Bronxville. I was working in the pizza
Pizza
shop,
shop
and we got
with
into
me.
conversation, and I told him, yo, you a cop? I said, yo, you don't know about police. Police back then was a piece of cake to mess with. And I told him about the cop Joe, and he said, wait a minute, that guy's my next door neighbor. So I said, really? I said, you must be confused with somebody else. He said, no. He said, when I go home, I'm going to ask him. So he went, I guess he went home and asked him. He comes back in the pizzeria the next day. He said, you know, he was right. But guess what the funniest part is? I said, what? He said, he still got a 2x4 in his car.
Get out.
I said, what?
Wow.
He said, he literally still beats people with that stick. I was like, oh,
Oh,
man. I said,
habits
you don't know what he
will
used to
go
do. We used to take the bathtubs and go up on the roof and smash the cars. Throw them right on top.
Police cars.
Smash the police cars.
Yeah, tell us about
You
that.
know
So
the
you
compound
take
buckets? We used to
Yeah.
fill them with cement and throw them on the police cars as they come down the block.
Really?
Smash them.
Gangs used to do that back in
We
the
used
day.
to smash them.
So the old cast iron
Bathtub.
bathtubs, you throw them off the
Right off of the roof, go up to, and there was a lot of abandoned buildings.
Yeah,
And
of course.
of course, there were plenty of bathtubs in
Yeah.
there.
Boy,
in
that would
there.
cave the roof in.
Oh man, we used to crush the whole police car.
He wants to be on TV.
Yeah, but
That's one of the reasons why the cops be the Savage Ghosts in the South Bronx, because stuff like that would take place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, they didn't. I mean, they would add fuel to the fire instead of,
Yeah, they start most of the
you know, you
bullshit
started
going
it,
on, yeah.
and then, like, I don't know.
Eventually, people are going to retaliate.
Of course, people only gonna take so much.
Well, you see, that was the message behind the Larry Davis story, is that the
Right.
jury believed the Larry Davis guy. Drug dealer, shot people, dangerous guy,
Right.
felon his whole life, and the jury believed him over the cops. So what does that tell you? And that was a Bronx jury.
But
I
see,
understand.
back then in the days, 13, like you were asking me, I don't wear 13 and 19. Back in the days, when you had 13 on, that meant you were a drug dealer.
Yeah, 13 to 69. Yeah, really?
Yeah, that meant that your club was selling drugs.
Never heard that before. That's interesting. I know like 13 was also like 13th letter of the alphabet, marijuana, stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
But it also, with some clubs, meant that those people were dealing drugs, right?
Correct.
Is interested in that. I mean, Cochise did 24 years altogether. Did 18 years. Last bit was for attempted murder. Before that was always violent crimes. And after spending all that time in jail, he kind of reformed his thinking. And his problem was drinking, but beyond that. But yeah, I think there's a real move now where people are trying to sort of save communities, save people, because the gentrification is pushing so many people out and wiping people out. Like actually, another thing that's happening now, on Facebook I find it interesting, but there's a Facebook thing about, this kid from Canada wanted to come down here and be part of an art show, and they stopped him at the border, and then they kept him out for 5 years. And the reality is everybody's thinking about the wall and the Mexican border, but they're really keeping a lot of people out of the country and not allowing a lot of people in. And so what's happening is with this gentrification is, America's kind of becoming more secluded in a way. Like there was a law that, with outlaw bikers, nobody can come into the country with a relative, associate, or anybody else. Now that means that everybody in one of those clubs, 1% clubs, is a criminal, and that's just not true.
No.
It's just not true that they're involved in criminal activities. Some people are, but not everybody.
Right.
So to have that kind of put on you like that, it's just wrong. And so what's happening is that the country's becoming more and more and more privileged. And you have the billionaire now trying to become mayor, trying to become president, and he was a stop and frisk guy. He was a guy that was cutting art programs at the school. The only way really out of the inner city is art, music, and sports. And this guy now wants to run for president. And now I'm hearing today, Cochise is telling me he lives in Compost, which was a project, but now it's private. They just privatized it. And
No, I used to live in Compost, but I visit family there.
oh, okay. But what's happening is that they're starting to move people out of the projects and people aren't talking about it.
That's all right,
Yeah, it's not really on the news, it's not really, so they're taking families and that maybe had a felon in the family or something, and they're turning that around, and now they're using that as a reason to evict people.
To evict people from housing.
So now we got people from New York homeless being pushed up to the Yonkers. Yonkers doesn't have homeless shelters anymore, they're shutting them down. We have the projects which are emptying the people out. I mean, where are these people supposed to go? And the crazy thing is that all these people love Trump.
So
Yeah.
true.
I mean, what is that about?
Wrong person.
I mean, he's a flat out gangster. I mean, he's a
Oh,
flat
yeah.
out gangster.
Definitely.
I mean, gambling, he was obviously in Atlantic City. I mean, women, we know about his women thing. I mean, the whole thing with, intimidating witnesses, telling people they couldn't go to Congress to speak, that's intimidation. I mean, he's supposed to be extorting the Ukrainians, he's being charged with
Right.
extortion. How come they don't use gang terms with the president?
Right.
I mean, why aren't they talking about him as a gangbanger?
Because they're all game bangers.
I mean, but we got extortion, we got women. Also, he's involved in construction. And if you go to the internet and watch YouTube, Sammy Gravano and all those old mafia guys talking about the history will tell you that they were totally in control of cement and a lot of construction in New York City.
Yeah.
So him being a construction guy, he had to be hooked up with the mob. So he's hooked up with the mob in construction. He's in Atlantic City with gambling. I'm not saying he's peddling girls, but he's, Miss America, whatever. It's all like a girl thing. I mean, he's got, everything about him is gangster.
Yeah.
I mean, his wife was here illegally. He married her. She's okay. Everybody else is not okay, but she's okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And how come you're not talking about this in realistic terms? If that was anybody else running for president or something, all of a sudden they'd say, hey, extortion, gambling,
You wouldn't have gotten that far.
Wouldn't have
It's
gotten that
one of
far.
us.
Right.
And it just shows you there's a lot of inequality and stupidity in the system. And that's why it's important for people in the neighborhood to start waking up and realizing that we're losing this country. I documented the whole reorganization of the police department on the Lower East Side. That went on for 4 solid years. In 1988, there were huge bonfires in the middle of Avenue A. They couldn't send cars down. They couldn't send buses down. That was held for 4 solid years. The park became filled with homeless. They had hundreds of homeless in the park. They eventually had to close the park. They tore down the band shell because that was like a public gathering space. And after 4 years, so in 1988, they couldn't close a 10.5 acre square park in Lower East Side with 450 cops, horses, helicopters, riots, the whole everything. Couldn't do it. By the time you get to 9/11, they closed down 3 international airports, all the subways, buses, ferries, tunnels, everything.
Everything was shut down.
Everything. And to close down 3 international airports is not easy.
No, not at
So
all.
they did that like in 2 hours. So all this practicing, which really started down here and went on for 4 solid years, at the end of the 4 years, if you stepped off a curb and then you would get arrested for a protest. Prior to that, it took them 4 years to gain control. There was 5 chiefs came out of this area. So you know that it was a concentration. You used to have all these suits and that around. I'm sure it was national. And the other thing is, if you look at national, and if you let's take shooting black kids.
Okay.
Okay, so if you go national, when you used to go to Texas or these places, you always had that you-all sheriff coming up to the car. How you all doing today, guys? You know. So you had this whole thing going on. Now what you got going on is, if you take Trayvon Martin, all of a sudden, all these cops, they got armored personnel carriers, they're all militarized, they all have the machine guns, the outfits. These are small towns in America. This isn't the you-all sheriff anymore. This is a nation that's armed militarily with the police department all across the country. And watch when something breaks off in another city. Look at the vehicles and things the cops are using. They're fully militarized, and nobody's talking about that either. Why do we have to have, in Denver, Colorado, or in, where Trayvon Martin was that St. Louis?
Trayvon Martin,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was
Florida.
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 That was
So anyway,
Florida.
why do they need a heavily armed militarized police department? Barr is saying now, it came out in the news, whether it's true or not, I haven't checked it, but he was saying that, in these neighborhoods where people really go and resist police that ended up shooting somebody or whatever, they're going to pull out police in those neighborhoods. How can you do that? I mean, what is the overall plan with all of this stuff? And that's another reason why people have to start getting together and thinking about this, because, they're wiping people out.
Really?
I mean, really.
Definitely.
And you see this whole militarized police department all across the country. It's like, why are these small towns having armored personnel carriers? Oh, jeez, it's your turn.
No, well,
Enough
I
from me.
just want to say that I applaud the superior ones and superior ladies for their work with the gangs and the community.
Thank you.
Understand? Not everybody's really into that, but from what I've seen these days, it's that a lot of clubs now that were at war with each other at one time are now at peace with one another,
Yeah.
and they're about doing good for the community.
Right, yeah.
Right.
We that's something, man. We growing up. We're not little kids no more. So
Yeah,
you
and
grow
not
up, you
only
start
that,
thinking.
you're working with youth gangs out there, with kids that are involved with a lot of bad things out there. You understand? So you guys are going out of the way now to try and help and bring about some type of order, some type of peace among these young kids. Which is something to applaud, something to really
A
get
lot of
involved
people
with.
are, they were afraid of doing it. When my superior said this is what he was doing, I was all for it. All my life I've been a parent advocate in schools and stuff. I just don't work in the schools anymore. And I dealt with a lot of troubled kids. And it comes from the home. It starts at home with the parents.
Yeah.
Okay? A lot of people, I always said school was a babysitting service. Because the mother brings off the child at 8:30, don't pick it up until 3 o'clock, so now the mother could be home doing whatever she has to do. I was the type of mother, my son was in school, I was in school with my child, working with the classes, helping children that didn't know how to read, take my time. Why? Because I was a recovering addict. I got 35 years clean
Good for you.
when I met him.
Uh,
And I hit rock bottom. I almost lost my 2 children. So people have to see that. But people, you look at me, you don't know my story. I have a lot of skeletons in my closet that nobody knows of. And it's a shame because now by my house, this could ruin my sobriety because I see dope bags around, which was never there. I'm there 5 years, never
Really?
seen it.
So that's increased now.
Now it's increased, and now you're increasing it in my neighborhood. And when I bring it to the cops, oh well, what do you want me to do? Okay, so when a child picks up that bag and licks it, then you come and tell me.
And dies,
Sorry,
yeah.
because that could be my granddaughter.
Right. Actually, seen that a lot more down here too now. Is
Yeah.
It's a shame.
Yeah. But you know, the other thing you were mentioning is like with the school, you know, you pick the kid to school, you pick them up. So let's say you can't pick them up at 3. So in this neighborhood, there used to be a couple of things. There were 2 boys clubs. There was a boys club on Pitt Street, which is just down here, and there's a boys club on 10th and 8th.
Yeah.
Now, they closed the boys club on Pitt Street because there's no boys, even though there are miles of projects right there. So they closed that building down, and then they're trying to close the other building, boys club on 10th and 8th. Now, with all these billionaires and that around, why would they be closing boys clubs? I mean, there's no way. I mean, I know kids in the neighborhood, as Mario and Larry and everybody here knows, people that were saved basically by the boys club. Yeah, play basketball, play sports. And down here they have an Olympic swimming pool. It's all gone.
Well, there's only one boys
Well,
and girls club now. That's
And
on
you know,
183rd.
at least they're fortunate to have,
We don't have none of that in Yonkers.
in Yonkers, there's not even a playground for the kids to play in. There's no playground, none.
You got
They got it.
playgrounds, yes, beautiful playgrounds.
But only on the side where the rich people
Where
live,
the rich people.
where the casino
What
is.
happened to these kids
But
who
where
were
our
brought up in the
area,
hood?
you can't find any park. You don't see open pumps in the summer. I open the pump in the summer.
They don't have nothing, nothing
There's no
specific
swimming
for
pools,
none of the children or
no
the youth in
park,
Yonkers to
No
go.
basketball courts,
And it's
then they have an empty lot, piece
But
of
they
dirt
build
that
it,
they
build
call
it,
a
build
park.
It sounds like the Twilight Zone.
They
This
don't
is
have
what we're
it.
trying to bring up a
So
park.
now,
But all,
what do you do with all of these kids? That's why they become Crip, they become
Of
Blood,
course.
they become Latin King in our neighborhood, and they start doing things that you wouldn't imagine. Even though we was brought up in the gang world, I was anyway, we had rumbles, we had this, but we did not, at any time, blow it out of proportion as the Crips, the Bloods, the shooting, and we didn't do any of that. We had these, and we went to the park and used them. Maybe a stickball bat. Big deal. But guns didn't come out.
Now it's guns. You
Guns
gotta
did
watch.
not come out at any time.
Mr. C. Bloomberg was trying to close down libraries. I mean, where does a kid go after school that's a good kid?
Right.
One of the places you can go at 3 o'clock is the library. You stay there till 5 o'clock. Everybody loves a librarian. Nobody, I don't know anybody's ever goofed on a librarian. You know what I mean? It's just one of those
No.
things. So, you know, when you look at the mentality of these people, closing the boys club, closing down the art programs, closing, you know, the libraries, trying to close, what are these people's intention? And these are the billionaires. So where are these kids gonna go? The other thing he did with the gentrification is he really brought in and took out all the small businesses, and now it's all corporate stuff. So the only thing you can do if you work at McDonald's is learn one thing, make a hamburger. You don't learn anything. The small stores are gone. The bodegas are leaving. And this is the guy that wants to be our president. What are kids supposed to do nowadays? We're lucky
Yeah, I
we
mean,
missed those periods.
Especially when you come from a place like where I live. I mean, so what do you expect them to do? They have nothing to do. So of course, they're gonna get in trouble.
Of
They're gonna
course.
join gangs. They're gonna do the stupidest things that you ever imagined.
Right.
And get into trouble, be locked up, and for what? Give them something. You're not even trying to give them.
Yeah,
Give
that's
them
what I'm
a
saying.
park.
No boys
Give
club,
them
no,
something.
no basketball, no nothing. What were you gonna
Nothing.
say,
Not even a
Superior?
basketball court around.
What were you
Nothing.
gonna say, Valentine?
So you,
Which is bad.
Wow.
you gotta understand something, man. Everybody keeps saying they doing this and they doing that. That's your enemy. So if that's your enemy and your parents not teaching them how to work around your enemy, you're gonna keep falling dependent on this thing. That's why
Right.
welfare I said farewell to you. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta wake up, man, stop depending on them and make our own things. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's no such thing as the gun shoot, and man, people commit suicide. Don't no man, no woman walk this earth by themselves no more. You know what I'm saying? If you got the youth out here, you gotta teach parents gotta teach their child that when somebody say stop, stop. You know what I'm saying? These truths is gay, you tell them to stop, they keep on nagging and nagging and nagging. Be about it. At the end of the day, and I put it in my book, Chisel Against It. When you step into quicksand don't give a fuck how pretty you is, how fat, how ugly, how skinny, who got your back, how many guns. When you get in quicksand, it take you under. And that's what these streets do, they take you under. It's called a trap. So if you don't wake up and see that, bam, that's what's gonna happen. Stop depending on the government. The government's not your friend. The government
Nope.
don't fuck about you.
Right.
Okay, we're gonna take a little break here.
Go ahead, Valentine.
Go ahead, Valentine. You're on a roll.
All right.
Keep rolling.
I had to look into it so I could come out. You know, if you take a child, right, and that, don't call him a kid, you understand, the words we say like a kid is a baby goat, so you already told him he's a demon, you know what I'm saying? If you say hello, you already tell the child you low. So the words that we talk, that's why I don't say hi and I don't say hello, I say peace. I'm a soldier, I'm not peace until the wicked one come in, didn't help Allah, Jehovah, any God you want to name, I put that person to sleep. That's how we gotta start working, that's how we gotta, talk to our youth. You gotta teach them the right way. You got kids that's 17, 13 years old. If you tell them, listen, stop playing around, this kid, they maintain, they think it's a joke until you hit them. You why you hit me? You know what I'm saying? Not to disrespect what happened to Junior Mother, you know what I'm saying? People might say he was a good kid, but understand something. If that's your child, teach him in the house. These streets don't give a fuck about your child. Nobody's child. That's your baby. Teach them. Parents do not teach them, man. People don't wake up and say, I'm going to send 12 guys after a little kid no more. You know what I'm saying? People, when you out there, these little kids be like, suck my dick, excuse my language to the female, you a pussy, you this and this, that. Yo, soldiers only going to take with so much before they lick off. You know what I'm saying? It don't happen like that.
And that's how the kids talk up in Yonkers.
That's not just Yonkers, that's nationwide, worldwide.
Yes, and one of the things that happened, like after the whole Avenue thing, and once you started getting into breakdancing and all of that, I mean, it's the art that came through and saved everything.
Yeah, basically.
Basically, right? The hip hop, the music, the breakdancing, the record playing, all that stuff. That's the creativity. So why would our billionaire mayor and these people running for president want to kill all the possibilities of creativity? Creativity is
We
like...
make money off of it. When you start making money off of things, man, they don't like that. You know what I'm saying? Put it like this, if you a rapper and you can sing, you're gonna make money. I'm not no rapper, I'm not no singer, so I gotta write books. You know what I'm saying? I gotta get out here, I gotta talk to the youth. You know what I'm saying? That's how I sing to them. I educate them. The knowledge that I get, I give it to them. I open up their eyes to give them understanding. You know what I'm saying? Some people go do the artwork and show them that way. We all got different talents that we do try to show our youth. Those that's rich, man, they try to block those things.
But there has to be a vehicle to do that, and that's what's ending. There's no places to go to do this.
That's where you get all these clubs come in, because like I said, we don't depend on the government. When you depend on the government, you can't do shit. You know what I'm saying?
Depend on the clubs.
Control. It's us to do that. You know what I'm saying? Even in our world, you know what I'm saying, you got clubs, they jealous of you or this one because you can do this and they can't. So you know what I'm saying? Even though we say all the clubs, you still got that jealousy, man. Jealousy is gonna be a motherfucker.
And there's not a lot of clubs who do the non-profit and profit organizations.
It's
See,
not
everything
even-
that Superior makes goes towards our camp for North and South Carolina.
So
We're
is that
trying
a
to open up a
nonprofit?
camp,
We
yes.
have both.
We have both.
We have non-for-profit and a for-profit.
So anything, all the money proceeds that come from Mr. Valentine's books goes into our camp. So hopefully, we're hoping by next summer, we'll have a camp open. You know, we
It's not
just
the
need the
thing.
funding.
It's not the thing again. The camp, because the money we could get that and get the thing. It's the thing putting people there
For the
to be
staff.
over staff. You know, your kids' uniform. Have to make sure they got food. Somebody who got if a kid get hurt. That's what you need the real money for.
You have to have a nurse
Right.
on board, you have to have a psychiatrist on board, you have to have a house
Security,
mother,
you know what
a
I'm
house
saying?
father, and these people, it's
That's 24/7. So
it's
that's
24/7
Yeah.
for them, there's no break for them.
So in other words, if you have a kids camp, you have to have a psychiatrist, a nurse, and all these different...
You dealing with 100 young men and 100 young
Young
women.
women.
So you dealing with everybody different personalities.
Right.
That's like if you got 12 children, you got each of the horoscope sign. You got the firecrackers. You know, so they all hit together. This Scorpion, this Cancer, this Pisces, boom, bam. It's gonna go
Yeah,
off.
we got the fire maxing with the water.
So there's a lot of regulations and rules to starting a camp like this.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, we wanna start the camp to take these boys out of the New York life,
Young man.
young men and young women, to show them there's a better life. It's just not being on a corner, selling drugs, doing your shit. I mean, I did my share as a kid. Everybody's done it. Ain't nobody clean. But for us to do this, I think it's gonna be awesome just to see their parents' face. Wow, that's my son, how he changed. Or that's my daughter, how they changed.
Yeah, no, it's very important. I mean, down here they have the girls' club. The girls' club takes, girls out to go camping and all that. It's very, very important. Here, the boys' club, one of them got shut down, so that's how you. But But the thing with it is that even, like, I remember people talking about in the neighborhood here, the fresh air fund and that.
They don't even have that no more.
No.
My sons went.
Really? And that
Yeah.
saved a lot of kids' lives. All of a sudden, they're talking to kids from, Troy Harrison that really lives in Avenue D. A couple of black kids. They ended up going to this family, Wall Street family in Connecticut or something, so they had money, whatever. So all of a sudden, the kids from the projects go to this place in the summer, and they realize, hey, these people are just like me. You know, they were like maybe rich white people or whatever, but it crossed a lot of boundaries. It opened a lot of doors. It made people realize that, hey, we're all just people.
People.
So why are they stopping these kind of programs?
You gotta say something. Your jail populace is $1 billion business. The hospital is $1 billion business. The federal is $1 billion business. They make money off us. Make money off of ignorance. So as long as you deaf, dumb, and blind, you have lack of knowledge, I'm gonna make money off you. It's the same thing with the drug thing, you know what I'm saying? If I'm out here hustling, and I know you need some work and you got at your bills, I know you're gonna come out here and do this, you know what I'm saying? So it's cool, like I said, so it's a trap, we trap our own stuff, because we know that we take our knowledge and we use it on the weak. They got knowledge and they using us because we weak. So it's something that goes on around. Some people can make it out the hood, some don't.
Some just like their lifestyle. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
they stay with
Well, that's a
that
hard lifestyle
lifestyle.
to get rid of, you know,
Yeah,
I mean, it
They,
really
they
is.
like that
burning down
lifestyle
your
because they
bones.
used to it already. They don't want to make
Yeah.
no changes. But you got those that want to make changes, they want to get out.
I mean, see, that's the thing, like you see with basketball, for example, I'll use that as an example. Use Sprewell as an example. So Sprewell must have been like a street guy or something, because all of a sudden he gets up with a basketball team in New York. What was it? The New York, what's it?
Next.
Knicks, New York Knicks.
Whatever.
Next,
So he became, but when he first got here, it took a couple of years to calm him down. First thing he wanted to do was smack people, because that's the environment that he came from. But then he realizes, hey, if I'm gonna, so even with a guy like him, it took a couple of years to integrate into that other part of society. And even with the millions of dollars and the push and the handlers and all that, it still took him a couple of years before he turned into what we would consider a civilized human being, or whatever.
That's the same thing with, even with us, you know what I'm saying? Even when, as I work and stuff, I look at a lot of people and I'm like, and I give them the smell like, yo, you really don't know what I can really do to you. You really just don't know with a push of a button, what you might think is a joke, I can make your family be crying. You know what I'm saying? People don't take things serious. That's just the bottom line. People, like I said, even from a child growing up, people don't take it serious until it's on and popping, and you like, oh my God, why you have to go like this? And even an animal warn you before he attack you. You know what I'm saying? It's up to you to approach him. You know what I'm saying? He'll growl, he give you that look like if you come too close, I don't know you, you don't know me, I'm gonna get at your ass.
Right.
And if you go like that, that's what happens.
But you see, it takes time for those groups to get together. And the Fresh Air Fund, spending a summer away somewhere, or a camp, that evens out a lot of stuff in people's heads. It's a very positive thing,
True.
you know? I mean, do they even have Cubs and stuff anymore? I know they have the girls club, but
The Boy Scouts now are accepting girls. It's a unisex.
do they still have boys clubs?
No, I haven't. The only boys
I haven't
club
seen a
that's
boys
the only one I
around
know is in the Bronx.
is in the Bronx
still
by
there.
Hughes Avenue.
The
In the
whole-
Whole
the whole
Avenue. No, what about
But we
the
had to do.
what about the one on 187th in Beaumont? What was that? That's a boys club. That was a boys and girls
But
club.
I'm talking about the Boy Scouts. I
Boy
watched
Scouts
about-
are still around.
The
I
Some,
mean,
Boy
I've never
Scouts
seen
some
is
areas.
around, and the Boy Scouts for the girls too.
Some areas.
Okay, I lasted about 3 weeks in Cubs and that was it, but I don't see them around anymore.
No, there's not that many.
Yeah, I noticed the fascinating jackets. Could you tell us what each symbol means? Starting with the back of the jacket?
On your cut.
On the cut?
Yes.
This is a lady's face, okay, and she's crying. These are teardrops. This is for the land. This is for the blood that we shed. And the
People in
prayers. Huh?
People
The yellow's
in
for the
heaven.
people in
The
heaven.
people in heaven.
The yellow is for the people in heaven, and this is for police brutality.
That's what when people, blue represent the violence, because sometimes people F with you and you gotta just put it on.
Who designed that?
Well, what happened was, there's a period we had a skeleton before, but when I started working in the school, they didn't want that in because, you know what I'm saying, everybody was attracted to it, the gangs, so they was kind of scared. So we put that on since we started working and dealing with a lot of families.
And that's actually a profile of a woman.
Yes.
Yes.
A woman
A
crying.
woman
A woman crying. She has
for
4
the-
tears.
For the loss of a child.
See, like a lady said to me, how could you have teardrops on your vest? That means killing. And I says, no, not to us. And I didn't know her that well, so I'm not going to describe what this means to you. You're not part of my club, so I can't describe. People in my club know what this means.
And then you have the lower rocker, which says New York.
Right.
And do you have other places where the club is?
Yes.
Yeah, North Philly, Connecticut, Jersey,
Massachusetts.
North
My son's the president in Massachusetts.
So were you one of the originators of this club?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I'm the founder.
He's the
He's
founder.
the founder.
So, and who designed it?
I did.
He did.
So that's all yours?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you're also asking, Larry's also asking about the other, like you have property of Bobby, that's Bobby, your husband?
Yes. That's because Outlaw World, I'm property of him. That means when I go to another club, that's gonna let other men know who are single, you can't talk to me because I belong to him.
Right.
Circuit World don't have that. Only Outlaw World has it.
You know, some of them use it, they don't really know
What it really means.
Yeah.
But really, back in the days, if you had property, that meant I belonged to all the guys in the
Yeah,
club.
back in the days, yeah.
But now that's no longer that. And what I also have, I have Unity. As you notice, Bobby, my Supreme, I'm sorry, not my Supreme, Tiny here. She has Young Lords. That's the Hispanic. I'm representing Unity, bringing everybody together.
That's with the white, so it don't, I mean, we open up doors to whites, blacks, and Spanish. That's why we got the different flags on us.
See, I could have put Italian there, but I'm not born from Italy. I'm
Hey,
born
yo.
from America.
And then what else do you have on there? You have also,
We got the feather.
I have the
That
feather,
represents
Yeah, what-
Indians for the
Indians,
okay,
my United States flag, my superior ladies, forever superior ladies. That's my little flashlight in case we go into dark alleys. And
FTW.
FTW.
Fuck the world.
Yep, just that. Fuck the world.
Fuck the world.
and Bobby,
Yes, sir.
so yours is Superior Forever, Forever is Superior.
Yes. Yes,
Superior
that's
ones
it.
forever.
Superior ones.
Superior ones forever. Forever superior one.
Right.
And of course, it's fuck the
But he
world.
don't have property of Tony
No.
on there.
Property.
But he is my property.
But we
36
don't know
years. Listen, we went into a restaurant. We were down here, in that famous hot dog place,
Katz's.
Patterson. And we were in the restaurant, and he just came out of jail. And the waiter goes to me, and I have my mother and father. My mom didn't like him, did not like him. And the waiter goes, well, what would your brother like? Well, my mother goes, brother? That ain't my son. And now it's, look, 36 years together.
Wow.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah.
Just made 31 years married in September.
That's good.
No disrespect, but Bobby, you look like a pit bull, brother.
He was, I
He can
mean,
get down. He can get down.
oh hell yeah, he could get down.
Yeah, he
And
can get down.
you know, I'm right behind him. I'm right behind him.
That's
One
how-
time,
that's the way
I
it
never
should be.
forget, we were in the park with my son, and these Albanians came up to us. I don't know what happened. They thought he was somebody else. And they went to pull a gun out on him. And I was only with him maybe 6 months. And I says, well, if you're going to shoot him, then you better start shooting right now because you're going to shoot me too.
Oh, I remember that. I ran home and got a gun.
He ran home to get a gun and leaves me there fighting with the
I
guy.
know. The funny part about it, I go home to get a gun. I only got one bullet.
Oh, boy.
What could you do with one
I said,
bullet?
well, I better make it a good shot. But after that one bullet, I gotta run because I ain't got no more. Oh,
I mean, we've been through our battles in the street, you know. I'm not gonna. I was born and raised in the project, so either you made it or you broke it, you know. And I got my ass kicked plenty of times until I said, you know what? ain't gonna happen no more.
Let me ask you guys some questions. Does everyone still associate with the old clubs, like the Savage Schools?
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We
Yeah,
were, they
we
were just
associate.
with them in, up at the
We
Bronx,
just with them.
library,
Museum.
museum.
Yeah,
Oh,
what they
you
were
guys
doing,
got the Bronx Museum.
they would, yeah, they
Flying
did,
cut sleeves.
last month, they did,
Yeah.
Cut off.
flying cut sleeves.
Right,
And
right.
all the Ghetto Brothers did, Savage Nomads. Oh yeah, we get along.
We
We
wish we could've gone.
we get along with them. We mingle.
All the really old clubs, we
We
still
all-
get
we
along.
all
It's just the young clubs that's coming out
The
now.
youth that's coming out now.
They be on that
They're,
dumb
they're
shit.
too violent. They want to make
It's
stuff
the
violent.
young ones that
Let
come
me
up.
tell you something. The young ones that's coming up, we try to keep our distance from them because they don't really know what this world is. They don't know what a war is. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to start some shit, but when it's on, you can't stop it.
Yeah, we
Right.
went for decades too.
Yeah, and that's what they don't understand.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's,
So do you do prospects and hangarounds and all of that?
yes, we
Yeah,
do.
yes,
We
yes.
have a prospect. We have one prospect now,
How long do you have to hang around for?
6 months.
6 months.
6 months, really. Then how long do you prospect for?
6 months.
Every 6 months.
Okay.
I'd like to ask, what's your name and
My name is Tiny.
Tony,
hmm
and what's your affiliation and where you from? Tell me a little about yourself.
Well, my name is Tiny. I'm originally born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. I reside in Yonkers. I learned about the Superior Ones because my nephew is the vice president. And my sister's in it and my brother, so, and I love what our Supreme is doing with our foundation. To get the youth and the children out of the streets. I'm all for that, always.
When did you get in?
I got in like a year ago.
Okay, all right.
We all came in the same time. My
Yeah.
son got us all, you know, we all came in at the same time. We all just started as supporting. I let them use my backyard, you know, as to have barbecues and stuff, to have a good time. And we enjoyed it. So my husband says, "You want to?" I said, "Oh, okay." And here we
I
are
like the
today.
different events. It's
Yeah, I like what he's doing.
the different events. We're gonna go to Montefiore. We like to walk for the cancer, the AIDS, autistic, all of that stuff. We're all in for it. Anything to help the youth, the children, because that's supposed to be our future. I like.
We have to teach our future. It's like, you know, I have an 11-year-old granddaughter and she got on Facebook somehow and saw my Facebook. And she calls my husband and she goes, "Papa, who are all them crazy people that you and Mama are with? They look scary." So I said, "Savannah, what are you talking about?" She says, "Mama, that's a gang." I said, "No, we're not a gang. We're a
So I
club."
said, I did ask her where she lives in Ohio. I asked her, why, does the picture intimidate you or something? How would you feel if I came to Ohio with a bunch of them and approached you? Would you feel intimidated? She said, "No, I wouldn't feel intimidated. That's my grandpa. I take you to school and let you beat up on the I was like, oh man.
And then she says, "Papa, I want a vest."
She said,
I
"Can
want-
I have one?" I said, "No, you
No.
can't wear this. It's going to get you into trouble in the fight.
You can't, you
There's
know.
certain things you can't do. You can't wear this vest there.
Yeah.
Unless you in my bed, right in front of me, you can't wear this vest. I said it'll cause problems for you. You don't understand. You're too young to understand yet.
Yeah.
When you get older, we sit down, we'll talk about it."
Right.
Shit, but I always see all those pictures you got. There's hundreds of you. And she was looking at pictures that we did. We did a cancer run with the Hustle Kings. And they had all the bikes out.
There was
They
over
run-
450
there was
bikes.
and everything. We were all
3
together,
blocks
took
long.
pictures together.
Down 34th
But
Street.
there's hundreds of you. There's a whole lot. There's hundreds of you. I said, yeah. But we're all different.
That was a
groups.
beautiful
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
That really
So
was.
you guys hang out with MC clubs too?
Yeah, MCAC.
AC.
Remember, we should get back.
And
Some
see-
of soldiers got bikes and some don't.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's social clubs. We talk. We hang out with them. Yeah.
You know, what it is we network with each other. Say like,
We meet and greet.
we do meet and greets.
We reach out to them. They reach out to us.
Like if the Hustle Kings are doing something, they'll let us know and then I'll forward it into other clubs. Well, see, Circuit World has PROs and they do all the, how could I say?
Public relations.
all the public relations for them. Us, we just do it ourselves. really the women in this club really have no say. It's the men.
It's the
We
men.
just sit back.
Mhm.
But Mr. Valentine likes what I do. I had showed him, so any of the or things that we do is basically coming from me, and he supports me with it.
So the women do have a voice in the superior ones, right?
Only
when
in
it
the,
comes to stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I let them put the superior ladies on them. Cause usually, you know, the property else supposed to be in the back all the way around.
Right. Okay.
but I enjoy it. You know, I want. When you come from the Bronx and you go to somewhere else and you see what the Bronx has and what one place doesn't have, it hurts. Like we have an empty lot up by my house. We're trying to get that to do a park. But Yonkers is saying they want the funding. There's no funding. We have the funding. Let us do the park.
Right.
And it's a big hold down. It really is. So this is what's saying that the park that they have is called Cochran Park. It has one swing and one slide. So if you have 30 kids in the neighborhood, you're fighting over that one swing.
Everybody gotta take a turn.
Everybody has to take a turn. If the swing is still there, because you have guys who come in with their pit bulls and swing the swing, and now there goes the swing. Now the kids have no
Nothing
swing.
to play
And the
with.
Parks Department won't come back and put a swing in. Nor would the Parks Department come and clean it.
Right, right.
But the sad part about that is that they renewed all the other parks in Yonkers. That's the only one. You know how many children play in that playground? They've never renewed it.
But let me explain something to you. There's no such thing as a ghetto. We make the ghetto.
Yeah.
If you got your people going in putting the pit bulls and they racing, they messing with the swings, they ain't doing it. You know something? I'm not gonna put my money and fix it up either. So you
Right.
can mess it right back up.
Right.
So that's why I say you gotta start teaching our children, man. Yo, this is yours. This
But
what
it's
you
not
got.
the younger children, it's the
the
adults that are
adults.
doing it.
This what I said. But the
Yeah,
young ones
let
up to
them-
the duck. We gotta start teaching them. Man, you go.
Right.
If you gonna mess up something that's gonna cost me some money, I'm not gonna go keep fixing so you can mess it right back up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we gotta wake up. You know, we not gonna. If you gonna say it's adult, they not little children. They gotta wake up and use their mind. Yo, who gonna pay for this? You know what I'm saying? If you ain't gonna.
That's
pay
why
for
when
this,
you
then-
said, let's
Yeah,
put the
I
park
will.
up there, I says, well, then we're gonna need security, because you're gonna have these people who come in with the dogs.
Then you put security, you put your cameras up there, yo. I don't like locking people up. I'll give you a big fine. You know what I'm saying? So here's a $100 fine. You wanna
And
go
this
in
is
with
what
me?
I had
Right,
proposed to the town of Yonkers, and I'm still waiting on an answer.
I mean,
And it's a shame, because you're not hurting me, you're hurting these
Those
kids.
kids. Yeah.
you know, it's said that, you know, sometimes I think about it, because of what we did in the 70s and all that, they still kind of hold that against us.
Against
They
us.
think that we're still, they look at us as a gang. They're violent. They're a gang. They're this, they're that.
Because they think we're
Because
still
of
with that,
what we
with that
did,
mind,
but
with
they
that
don't
set mind.
understand.
That's why.
Now, you know, they don't understand what we're doing now. It's not like that.
Let me explain something to you.
You know, I mean, we went to the Troublemakers
Yeah.
in Brooklyn,
In Brooklyn. Yeah.
That's a club.
the MC Club.
That's an MC club, an outlaw MC
The
club.
Outlaw
And
MCs.
outlaw MC.
We were hanging out in their clubhouse. We were all outside, sitting there. A police car came, he stops, the two cops get out, they look at us. And we all sitting in front of the club. We got Hennessy bottles, everybody's drinking and being. It started with two cops, they would cross the street. All of a sudden you see them in the huddle. The next, within 5 minutes, you see maybe 100 cops
A bunch of them.
standing across, lined up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if everything all right, man, they're not gonna roll on us, are they? No, I said, if they're gonna roll on us, let me know so I can strap up. I'm not just gonna, let you beat me up.
No.
I said, let me know, man, so I can be ready and I can stop drinking this damn Hennessy. Because after I have too many of that, I ain't gonna be able to fight. I was like, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there was like 100 of them lined up. And I'm like, why are they lined up? Do they do this frequently when you guys here? This is your club. They do that when we have other clubs and we all together, they think we're gonna start fights and they got the
So make sure
misconception
everything
of
is
us.
okay.
Like back in the day.
Yeah, they
different
have the
clubs get together,
misconception.
they're thinking
Yeah.
about
I
war,
was like,
rumbles.
Yeah,
You see,
rumbles.
I was like, you see this shit? First it was two of them, and then they got on their radio. All of a sudden, I said, "You see this shit?"
We had a nice
And
time.
we
there.
weren't. We didn't have no. We didn't have intention of doing anything but sit there and drink, and we had a grill. We was eating. What you was there?
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
were
you were
eating,
eating.
We was
grilling,
eating, we was drinking.
and they just like.
We was smoking.
I
they
guess
was
trying to
just chilling
intimidate
like
us.
nothing.
See, that
Well,
reminds
first
me.
of all, you were outnumbered. You couldn't intimidate us. You were outnumbered at that minute. First of all.
That reminds me of back in 1979 when I was down with the Spanish rebels in Seward Park, and they had the Together Brothers on Henry Street. There was war. The Allen boys was warring with a lot of clubs,
Oh
and
shit.
so a lot of clubs came together, like the Spanish rebels and the Together Brothers. And so we wanted to talk and have a meeting on how we're going to deal with the Allen boys, and everybody started getting sticks and bats and knives together. And all of a sudden, when we having this meeting in Seward Park, we call it also Hester Park, cops came out of nowhere. Same way, but except they came and attacked us and found all the weapons that everybody had, but they didn't arrest nobody. They just wanted to
Thank
take the
God.
weapons out the way because they knew it was a gang meeting dealing with war. That's how they ratted us out. You know, so that was back in 79, so that kind of reminds me of that.
Well, I was like, why would they think we grown men? All of us grown. Nobody's revving the bikes. All the bikes. Nobody was even on the bikes. Nobody was revving bikes like they normally do.
Let me tell you something. We got power.
They have the misconception. They holding it
you
against us.
have to understand something. We have power. They don't show us many times come together. They don't show us many times stop wars. You know what I'm saying? So whenever you got the power to do that and you don't need them, you're a threat to them. Because now you take away their money. And I go
Right.
like this, assuming I can bring soldiers together, they're looking at who the fuck you think? This is the way Malcolm X is. You take away their power.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you understand something. If we stop all the bullshit, we don't really need no police. The
Right.
police has to fuck with us to make the shit happen. You know what I'm saying? Because if they don't, what we need? That's why they make ACS. You know what I'm saying? That way they can mess with the kids to keep the memory messed up. You know what I'm saying? And push the father out. All these so-called government things, like I keep saying, that ain't nothing but trash. So that's why I say it's basically teaching the children, man. That's why I say we really need to camp and get the people behind us, support us, so you can start teaching them. Because
Yeah.
when you show a child, this is how they gonna trap you, this is how they trap you. It's like, you know, you teach them ball, so you know how to put the ball between your legs. When you go to put his hand down, you can come out on the other side. Once you show them the rules of the game, you can pass them. Many times cops stop me, they say, "Where's your ID?" I don't give them my government ID, I give them my more ID. And the eyes of Allah, now why you question me? When they see that flag, now they know to back up. Patches on me or no patches on me. Now I'm on more. You know what I'm saying? I could deport your ass. You know what I'm saying? You gotta teach them how to talk like that and how to come after them. Don't come aggressive to them. You wanna see ID? Let me show you some real ID. Boom. Now you get out of my country. Remember, we was here before you. You came here, and that's why, you know what I'm saying, they told Obama was the first president. If you go and study a real history, you see Moore was here, and we was the original president. That's why you got the $2 bill. You know what I'm saying? So when you can tell a child that's how to educate them, man, you can smack them in the face. The Israelites also got status like that, but the way they talk, people back away from them. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta be able to a gentle talk to them, and you gotta know when to talk gentle and when to come at them. Like I use always, why you gotta talk about it? You ain't gotta do all that. Learn knowledge, man. He's pushing you for you to push back. Put your hands like a soldier, show them the ID. What's the ID? Boom, here's some more. You know what I'm saying? Now you in my 360, why you in my country? And people who don't know what the Moors is, when the Europeans came and tried to get the blacks as slaves, we had to go get them. We turned Moor. The word Moor means black. And we got the papers, and we used to show the white man not to be racist. Boom. So the white man couldn't touch us as a slave. We had right to send him back to his country now. You know what I'm saying? So you have to know that. Once you can bring knowledge on a youth like that and show them that, that's why they try to mess with us, because we don't know who we are. All these so-called laws and all, it's no such thing as a law. We make the laws. If I go down here and I'm throwing down paper and you get mad and you want to go talk to the police and you want to talk to them, guess what? They make a law because I'm lit right now. You know what I'm saying? You go and you rape this little girl, boom, I'm going to make the law under her name now. Stop doing stupid shit. They can't make no fucking law on you. That's the bottom line. That's why I say you got to wake up. Once you can wake up and you got knowledge of yourself, you got wisdom of yourself, you got understanding of yourself, boom, there you go. You know what I'm saying? If you want to smoke and drink, smoke, but also stay on your 360. Have understanding of who you are. Don't be so aggressive. When you come in aggressive, you get them green to put the hand on the gun, because that's what he's waiting for anyway. You know what I'm saying? That's what you got to understand, sir. Many times I go and I talk to the so-called pig. You know what I'm saying? He said, why you call me that? I said, because you're an officer, you're the overseer. You can't oversee me, because I'm a more. I can oversee you. I'm not no slave. You You know what I'm saying? I'm not acting out of cattle. Why are you harassing me? Yeah, but you can't talk to me. I'm older than you. If you the overseer, I'm on more. I see you. You can't see me. This is my country. Where's your paper? Tell me you the government. That's how we gotta start approaching. That's how you gotta teach your youth that. And when you can't, when your youth is acting wild and can't control, that's why I said tell the young ones to grow F up. Because when you grow up and you can build back, boom, you put them in this place now.
Hey Valentine, share with Clayton the project you're doing.
Yeah, I think it's, we're gonna have to start winding this up now, so everybody has something to say to close this off. I think we'll start, I think you're right, Coach East, we'll start with Valentine.
Yeah.
Tell us about the 21st project, January 21st, is that what it is?
Yeah, well, it's gonna be in January. We're not sure, 'cause like I said, I gotta get a January calendar. Like I said, I'm trying to bring my little brothers and sisters, you know what I'm saying, together. You know what I'm saying, Bloods, Crips, educate them. You know what I'm saying? There's programs out there that can help them, like I said, more than other things, but that's something they gotta be willing to do, is put down the guns. Like I said, we are talking to them. A lot of people, a lot of organizations that I would like to come down, since it's about to go into the holiday season, you know, so a lot of people are getting tied up, so that's why we push it after the new year. But in the eyes of Allah, Jehovah, Yahweh, any God that you want to name, boom, we hope they do come together back then. And your camera people will be here to take that. Y'all have an indoor, how you want to say it? An indoor, look on the whole thing. Because the news just come there and just to look at it. But you going to have a whole, from the end, in the beginning.
From the beginning to the end.
So Bobby, you got to wind up, something you wanna say to summarize what's going on here?
We just, hopefully everything goes as planned. And we're gonna try our hardest to do it.
The T?
And we're just gonna stick together as a team like we do.
We stick together, get things accomplished and get it rolling.
Get it done.
You know, and we can make a change in these kids' lives. Not only our kids, but our generations coming up. My grandchild's children. You know, it's totally different. These babies having babies. Gotta help them.
Well, if I can get one of them to listen to me and just one, I'll feel good about myself. At least I can save one of you, I'll be happy with it.
Yeah.
I can't save all of you.
Yeah,
But
one
if I
can
can
change the
save
world.
one of you,
But
to
there's a,
listen, I'm happy
there's a
with it.
saying, it takes a village to raise a
That's my
child.
trophy, just one of you. I'm not gonna, I
And one
can't
follows,
save
the
all of
rest
you.
will follow.
I can't save all of you.
And Tiny, do you have some issue you wanna say?
Then what I just said was if one follows, the rest will follow. If we could make the difference to show these children that there's a better life, all the other children will be like, wow, I wanna be just like him and be like, and do like him, they'll follow. They'll see the difference, they will follow.
Yeah.
And that's what our goal is, to make a change and for them to see and keep it going as generations go by.
Coaches?
Well, I just want to say to thank to Valentine, Tony Valentine, for the Supreme President of the Superior Ones. I want to thank Tiny. I want to thank you all, Superior
Thank you.
ladies,
Thank you for
for
having
coming.
us.
because we gotta preserve this history. And we gotta let people know that we're still doing good out there.
Yep,
You understand?
definitely.
We're not here to hurt nobody. We're not here to torment anyone. We're here to help. We're here to extend a hand. You understand? And try to make a difference in this world in a positive way. You know?
And also, I'd like to thank Mario, Larry, and Maurice for shooting this and preserving this. Because if we don't save our own history, then who will? So everything we've talked about is sort of helping community and things like that, and helping yourself. But one thing we have to do is to save our own history. Because if we don't do that, then nobody will. And I'm
Nobody
happy
will.
to say Maurice and Mario now are doing a
Yes.
lot to document the neighborhood, which is really important. Because it's all disappearing. I was telling somebody earlier that I was on the Bowery and I got lost on the Bowery and I used to live on the Bowery. And it's because everything was changed. All of a sudden I was looking for this number and I'm looking around, every building was gone. All my landmarks were gone. So, you know, it's like, we gotta save our own history. So, this is Clayton Patterson and we always end on a happy note.
Uh-oh.
A happy note, it's very important. So, thank you everybody for being part of this and we're signing off now, Clayton Patterson, 8 Ball Radio, and we sing as we ride off into the sunset, happy trails.
Happy
trails.
trails.
Happy trails to you.
Until we meet again. Happy trails to you.
Until we meet
again.
Okay, from this time until next time, people, this is Clayton Patterson signing off for 8 Ball Radio. And thank you very much for listening, and thank you everybody for helping. And it's been a very interesting day, so thank you.
Thank you.